Hi, I'm Pauline Felicia Baird. I'm a Guyanese. I'm from Guyana. Everybody knows about Guyana now, I think, because Guyana is trending in the news because of its newly found oil reserves. But I am more than a Guyanese. I'm a Buxtonian. What is Torisa Buxtonians? A Buxtonian is a person from the village of Buxton. Buxton is very important in the history of Guyana. We are a revolutionary people. And there is no Guyana without Buxton. So we Guyanese, or we Buxtonian Guyanese, like to think that Buxton is the capital of Guyana. That's what we think. So let me tell you some stories about Buxton. Because like Oswald McGarrell says, Piggies as we call him, he said many people know about Buxton, but they don't know Buxton. So let's talk about Buxton. In Buxton, we speak two languages, mostly. Creolese and English. I grew up speaking both. Creolese is a language that's made up by African peoples and used in Guyana among other races. But Creolese is made up of Spanish, French, Dutch, African languages, and so on. It has its own grammar. For example, in English we say, my name is Pauline. In Creolese, my name Pauline. In English, you can say, your name is John. I would say, your name John. If I want to talk about many people, I say, you. So, let's talk some Creolese. Let me talk some story. You see this? You think you know what is right? You think you know what this is. When I twist it so, and turn it so, I make something. What is this? In English, you think you know what this is, but I don't think you do. I twist it and turn it like this. Now, this is a piece of cloth. In the village, we say cloth. And when I twist it and put it like this, and I put it on my head, this is no longer cloth. This is a pad in English. But in Creolese, this name Paad. I gotta fix it like this. Paad is usually made from repurposed material. So instead of dumping it somewhere, you coil it up like this and you wear it on the head. It's a protective clothing. It stands between you and whatever you put on your head. Sometimes people have reasons to put things on their head. Let me tell you one thing more about Paad. You see, I have my hair up like this. It look nice, right? Don't let me catch you wearing this on your head like this. This pad is not fashion. This is not fashion. This is a headwear for hard-working people. Unless you're working hard, don't make me catch you wearing pad like this. A lot of people in Buxton were farmers when I was growing up. Or they worked hard. Like, for example, my great-aunt Ivy. Buxton people, you know my great-aunt Ivy? They used to call she Man Ivy. Well, Man Ivy used to wear plenty pad. She taught me how to use pad. And you put it on your head because you got to balance things. For example, if she has her bucket of pig feet or tripe, like so, she put it on the head like this. And you got to put it here and settle it up so. And you got to balance. Pad is a protection between the head and the burden. Okay, as the second thing you know about pad. Let me tell you something else about pad. Like I talked about my great-aunt Ivy just now. Wearing the pad is learned practice. Aunt Ivy used to show me how to make it, and then you put the bucket on your head like this, and you got to walk like ballerina. Yes, village we had ballerina. Don't know we ain't dancing ballet, but we learned to walk like ballerina. You got to put it on like this and square up your shoulder, and you got to look ahead in case there's a pothole, because if you fall in that pothole and your bucket water fall down, you got to go back and fetch more from the standpipe. Or if you make the thing that they carry you with fall down, then you get a licking if you go home. So you got to balance this thing good. Make sure the pad is nice and thick. All right. Now, let me fix this pad. You see I'm fixing this pad here? I got my hair up so. Is because that's the fashion I want to wear today. But Pad is a thing that's tailor-made for your head. You got to fix it and settle it until it fits your head and be comfortable. So lesson number 4, you can't wear other people's pad. You got to wear your own pad. Because this pad got to fit your head. Only you must know how it feels. Anti-IV can't feel it for me. So I learned to get the feel of the pad so it settled on my head. So I can walk gracefully as a girl child. So even from the age of 10 or even younger, I knew how to wear a pad on my head. Now, number 5. Pad is a very useful tool in the exercise of responsibility in the home. Now, children, when I was growing up, had to do housework. You got to do things after school. And so sometimes if there is no water coming through the pipes, you have to go to the standpipe or somewhere and get water. And you got to put it in your bucket or your saucepan, put it on your head like this, and you carry it. It was pretty common to see many kids carrying water like this. And this happens in many cultures as well. My great aunt, Aunt Ivy, she carried lots of big galvanized white buckets on her head. She used to have tripe inside and pig feet and cow brains. You see, that sounds gross to some of you, but Aunt Ivy was an entrepreneur. She was a strong black woman and she had to fend for herself. So she carried these things that were left over from animals and sold them in the village so she can make a living. So when I wear this pad, I visualize my Aunt Ivy as a hard-working woman and I have pride for her. She made it easy for me to have pride in myself so I can know who I am. For Aunt Ivy, she never had a government job. And there are many people in the village who never had government jobs. So they carried their burdens on their heads from their gardens and their farms. Those were the people who did the farm to table stuff. So they knew where their food came from. They knew who planted it. And for the most part, they knew who ate the food. Let me tell you something else about Paad. Paad is shows a relationship between the women of the village and the men of the village and the land. Now, Buxton itself is all about land. If there is no land, there is no Buxton. And I'm going to tell you another story about Buxton people later on with the land. So women raised the food, they harvested the food, they carried it on their heads. Paad symbolizes how women connect the ground to their livelihood. So when I wear this pad, I feel I'm connected with my soul, at my soul level, to the village and the women. It's a symbol of how women in Guyana and the Caribbean, broadly speaking, help to raise the society and feed a healthy community. Number 7, Paad is a crown. It's a crown. It's an accomplishment. You see, Guyana, back in the day, used to be known as the bread basket of the Caribbean. Now we got oil. And it's nice for us to remember that before oil, we were the bread basket of the Caribbean. And we produced a lot of bananas and wood and all kinds of stuff. And women, especially men too, would carry this stuff. And when I think about women carrying stuff, I think about this woman named Gloria Anzaldúa and another woman named Sherry Moraga. They wrote about women and women's burdens in a book called This Bridge Called My Back. I like to think of Buxtonian women not as ones carrying things on their backs, but women carrying the load on their heads, literally and figuratively. It's something to do with the intellect and how we know who we are and how we function as a society. So when I wear this pad, physically and psychologically, spiritually, I am bearing the responsibilities of my ancestors. I have a work to do. I'm going to end with this. I'm a cultural bearer. I carry our culture with pride. I'm a proud Buxtonian. If you look on my head, I want you to see past this pad. See a big bunch of banana. And another big bunch of banana on top. And another one and another one. And each bunch of banana is a story. Story on top of story on top of story. And those are the stories I carry. And these are the stories I'm going to bring to you. I will tell you our oral traditions. I'm going to sing them, dance them, recite them for you to hear. But when I tell you them, I want you to remember this. You cannot unhear them. They're going to be your stories and they're going to be your responsibilities when I tell you these stories. After I would have told you, you might want to tell other people and you might want to think about it. So, let me tell you something. Me, I want cultural bearer. Me just carry my culture with pride. Me just carry this culture like how me just carry this part on my head. I just carry this culture just like how my great aunt Ivy teach me how to carry it. And I just feel it in my heart and my soul. And when you see this part, I want you to think about a bunch of banana. And I want you to think about one more bunch on top. And one more bunch on top. And 5 on top. All them bunch banana is stories. Every single hand of banana is stories. That's how I carry my culture. Me go tell you all kind of story. And when me done tell you this story them, I gonna have to talk them. Because I can't sign and hear them. When me tell you a story, story is a big thing. Once you hear story, you can't forget story. And when you can't forget story, then it's on your heart and you have a responsibility to carry this story out. And that's how you just carry your legacies. So, me go done now. Next time, we'll tell you another story. Walk good.